Well, hello everybody. It is us again. This is quite literally the worst open to a podcast before we even hit record that I think has ever happened. I don't know what's going on today, but we're here. We have a loaded podcast. And again, special guest with me today. I was able to get the brother of movie icon Chicken Little. Joining me today is his big brother, Chicken Big. How you doing, sir?
I hate you. I hate you so much.
I would like to say photo credit shout out to our buddy Memes. He is the one who made this lovely rendition of Tony. So
Fucking computer.
so there you go. Chicken Big joining us today. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm just eating these strawberries because they're gonna go bad soon, and someone needed to eat them, so I'm just munching. Was hungry. Big surprise. I'm hungry. Who'd have thought?
At least people won't complain about you drinking this episode. People complain about you eating strawberries.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking of hungry, I'm hungry for some football. So let's just get into our Cleveland countdown for the week. It's been a while since we've done this. It's been 2 weeks since our last podcast, so get into it.
Yeah. Well, OTAs have kicked off, Tony. You just shoving your face. OTAs have kicked off, and it's an interesting time. First things first, Brown's 6th round pick of this last draft, Nathaniel Watson, intercepted Tyler Huntley in the end zone. So there is some news for you. Guy who's not really a ball hawk linebacker getting a pick in OTAs. Tony, what say you on that?
I'll take it. We'll take it.
Inside jokes that no one will understand.
Some people will. Any improvement from that linebacking room, I'll take any day. We're gonna need it this season if we want to be successful. Tyler Huntley, he's probably not gonna play much, so I don't care. Watson might play his way onto the field. Something about them people named Nathaniel with that underdog mentality, whether it's from the trailer park or from the 6th round of the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Bigger news here. Deshaun Watson was throwing during the first day of OTAs, but he didn't throw during the second day. It's just nice to see him throwing a football after the shoulder injury he had. It's progress. Anything is progress for this point for Deshaun. Got to see him back on the field and healthy and playing well this season, for sure.
Yeah, so Stefanski said he clarified the situation. He said that Deshaun will rotate days during OTAs as a part of his rehab. So that explains the off and on as far as why he's throwing one day, why he's not the next day. But I will say, he looked good when he was throwing. He did look good. And coming off of an injury as significant as he had, for him to look as well as he did throwing the football, that's a big deal. It's a very good sign for things to come. So we'll see. I know it's on air, right? They don't have pads on. It's nothing too crazy, but still dealing with a shoulder injury and still coming out looking good throwing the football. That's a big deal. Not sure what happened to Tony, but
I finished my strawberries. I was putting the carton away. Sorry. Anyways, massive deal to have Watson out there throwing. Like I said, he has to play well this year for this team to be successful. This is a make or break year for the franchise. If he plays like shit again, that contract looks worse, you might have to think about moving on. I mean, let's be honest here. This is what, year 3, correct? Yeah, year 3 of Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. I mean, you got to show something. You got to show me something. I don't care what you did 5 years ago with the Houston Texans. You know, when people are posting Obama administration era highlights, like from his Clemson days and all that, like, come on, man. Show me something in a Cleveland Browns uniform. Like, we have to get something done this year. This is that make or break year that could determine if this team is ever going to be a Super Bowl contender throughout this window. It's as simple as that. Like, there's no need to further expand on that. This is what it is. we have to win football games this year. Deshaun Watson has to perform like the $240 million quarterback that we paid him to be. And there's no excuses. There's no, well, this or this or this. Like, go off the field, shut up, put your helmet on, play football. I don't want to hear all the yes men from your marketing team and your agent, and your group, and your little fanboys on Twitter. I just want to watch you play football at a high level because I know you can do it. But now you got to prove that you can still do it after all the bullshit that's happened over the last couple of
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like you said, it not necessarily means anything right now, but just the little cookie crumbs, if you will, of him throwing and looking good throwing. That's a good sign. It's a really good sign. But moving on, the defense struggled last year in red zone, right? The defense was great, but it had one of the worst red zone defenses in the NFL with a 71.4% touchdown rate. So the Browns, so far in OTAs, have been really focused on red zone drills. And, we mentioned it earlier. Nathaniel Watson picked off Tyler Huntley in the end zone. So, I mean, for us to struggle as much as we did in the red zone, despite having a really good defense, at least they're addressing the problems.
The Browns defense last year is like that really hot girl that that like she's just really difficult to get with. But once you finally get down around the end line, you get in the red zone, you're going to score. That's like watching them. Like, once you get there, you're getting in, no problem. You just got to do all the work to actually get down there and get where you need to be. But once you're there, you're getting in, no issues. But yeah, definitely one thing the Browns got to work on. Stop letting so many people into their end zone. Pause.
Yep. Yeah, and you never know. You might get down to that end zone, you're blowing up somebody's phone, and then you realize you're talking to Tony Battaglio in reality. I'm sorry. Moving on. Jameis Winston, the favorite so far of the offseason, looking good during throwing drills. Tony, is this alluding to anything? Do you think Winston's going to get some time?
Let's be honest, it's not going to matter. With the way our fan base is, they could put fucking... I don't know. I don't even have a name for you. At backup quarterback, and the minute Watson does one thing wrong, people are going to be clamoring for that backup quarterback. People are going to be yelling for Jameis Winston. It is not going to matter. If the Browns wanted to bring in a guy that people weren't going to beg and clamor for once Deshaun Watson makes one mistake, you're going to have to get some young rookie quarterback that you picked up off the post-draft market that no one even knows from, like, third division Wisconsin Whitewater or something. Like, if you get guys who are proven NFL backups, and yeah, obviously the right thing to do, get a proven NFL backup, but Watson, and maybe it's part of the reason we got rid of Flacco and adding interceptions. Watson and his camp have to know, the front office has to know, the coaching staff has to know. The minute he throws one interception, makes one mistake, people are going to be pounding the table for Jameis Winston. And we all know what part of the fan base it's going to be. But, like, it is what it is. And, if Watson continues to look bad, I say go ahead and give Jameis a shot because God knows he can't do any worse. He's a very hot and cold player, that's for sure. But, if you have to play him, you play him. You can even factor Tyler Huntley in on some run packages if you don't want Deshaun running a lot. It's going to be like that. It's not going to matter who's backup quarterback. We're going to clamor for them, much like we always do, because as Cleveland fans, we just love to have something to bitch about.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a big part of it, too, is a lot of the fan base really holds on and looks too much into these off-season OTA Twitter highlights of people throwing to, receiver X, receiver B. Yeah. And the big thing is Winston being half of those clips, you're going to have the people being like, oh, Deshaun couldn't make that throw. And it's like, well, the day before he did. So it is what it is. But, yeah, I mean, that's how it's always gonna be. But moving on, we have some news outside the NFL. Actually, some breaking news. Let's let's actually do that first, just because it just happened. Reigning Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey, has once again reset the running back market, signing a 2-year extension with the 49ers, averaging $19 million per year. McCaffrey will receive an additional $8 million over what he was scheduled to make in the first 2 years, while adding $24 million in guarantees. This deal was negotiated and confirmed by WME Football. So we already had one pretty big deal to talk about here, and now one that you could argue, Tony, affects the Browns with Christian McCaffrey getting an extension.
He deserves every penny they give him. They should give him the city of San Francisco and at some point the state of California. He is the best player in the NFL, no doubt in my mind. He is. It's kind of like the LeBron effect. Like McCaffrey honestly should win MVP almost every year, but he's not going to because you got to give it to someone else once in a while. He's great. He's a workhorse. He doesn't slow down. Like I said, he's the best player in the league, and I firmly stand behind that.
Yeah, that was an outstanding trade that the 49ers made with the Panthers to get him. I remember being like, yeah, McCaffrey's great. Like, he's the best, one of the best running backs in the league, but like I feel like they gave up a lot. No, it's been worth every bit of what they've given up. So yeah, that could possibly affect the Browns. Nick Chubb, the Browns have they're going to have to come to terms with something on a contract with Chubb. So McCaffrey signing a 2-year extension, resetting the running back market. What effect is that going to have on the camp of Nick Chubb? What are they going to be thinking? Are they going to want that kind of money? Who knows? It's tough to tell. But Tony, in other news, Justin Jefferson has signed a 4-year, $140 million contract with $110 million guaranteed. He is now the highest highest paid non-quarterback, I should say, in the NFL.
Great deal for the Vikings, and it's going to greatly affect the Cincinnati Bengals because Jamar Chase is probably going to ask for that type of money, and Mike Brown's going to have a heart attack because he's the cheapest owner in the NFL. And then T. Higgins is going to be like, where's my bag? And he's probably going to leave Cincinnati. And then to extend it even further, C.D. Lamb's going to want Justin Jefferson money, and Jerry Jones is just going to point at the door and be like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
This is going to have a major effect on the NFL, far past the McCaffrey deal.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the Jefferson contract was kind of like when Mahomes was up for contract. It's like, all right, this is going to set the tone for like who the best and how much you get. 4 years, $140 million is wild. I mean, that he's worth it. Don't get me wrong. Jay Jettas is fantastic, probably best receiver in the NFL. But that's a lot of money. Now for the Vikings, you're putting a lot of eggs in the basket of one of Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy. I mean, that is the harsh reality with this, is you got your guy at receiver, you have your number one. They have a good team. They got Aaron Jones.
They also have Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
They also have Jordan Addison as well.
Yeah. T.J. Hawkinson, solid offensive line. It's just how's it all going to fit? How is J.J. McCarthy going to go from, power run game of Michigan to, kind of forcing him to open it up a little bit? How is that going to translate?
So, speaking of Jamar Chase, in terms of who's next to get paid, it's probably going to be Jamar Chase or T. Higgins or C.D. Lamb, all guys that are due some big money here soon, I'm pretty sure. For sure, Chase. Mm-hmm. Like, Jamar Chase has to get paid. If the Bengals want to continue to compete, they have to find a way to keep Jamar Chase. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to have to figure out how to do it. It's that simple.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, when I saw Jefferson get this deal, I think CeeDee Lamb's gonna have to get paid. I don't know how Dallas can let him go. I just can't see a world where he is not a Dallas Cowboy. He's not Justin Jefferson good, but he is an elite number one receiver. He is absolutely an elite number one receiver. And when you look at that Cowboys team, they got CD, Cooks, Turpin. They cut Gallup. I'm trying to think who else. There's another one. I forget. But point being is they don't have anybody to fill the shoes, right? CeeDee Lamb was their next man up when they moved on from Amari Cooper. He's done a great job. Now, obviously, we've benefited from Cooper, but I think, when you ask who's next, I think CeeDee Lamb has to be next. The question now becomes, okay, now that the standard's been set, Jefferson 4 years, 140 mil, 110 guaranteed, what is CD going to get? Is he going to get a 4-year deal? Is he going to get a 3-year deal, a little bit cheaper? How is this all how's this all going to shake up? And I don't know what happens in Cincinnati. I don't know how I don't know. I mean, T. Higgins is for sure out the door. He's got to be gone.
Yeah, that seems very likely at this point.
But yeah.
Well, all these players are going to have to find their fit. And speaking of finding your fit, check out Derek, what the hell are you doing? You went in and out 3 times.
Sorry. I'm giving you the full screen to promote.
Speaking of finding your fit, check out TwoOneFits.com where you can get all your best gear for the upcoming Cleveland Browns season, the ongoing Cleveland Guardians season, who are one of the best teams in baseball, by the way, and the Cleveland Cavaliers off-season, as well as your dog bowls, your dog bandanas, your DF sports merch. TwoOneFits.com. Find your fit at 2OneFits.
All right. Well, if I'm not mistaken, somebody is supposed to...
We're back, bitches. Took a little hiatus from this, and I'll admit this was a struggle trying to find tweets, because there are just not as many out there as I thought there were for this segment.
If we were doing porn bots, we wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, we could start reading porn posts now that it's been allowed on Twitter, which, God, we'll see how that goes.
It just means they can profit off the Twitter Blue revenue share now is all it is, which means less people or less money for more people. It's a scam.
Yeah, but anyway, so we got a bit of a theme for this one with the NBA finals coming up. So it's an all NBA Twitter, some new, some old. So let's get into it. But yeah, I'm at Knott's Berry Farm and my butt's too big to fit into seats on the ride. Ah, that's me yelling.
I got it.
Dwight Howard.
James Harden. Oh, wait. No, Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's got that BBO.
Is Kyle Lowry still playing? Because I was going to say this is a retired player. So I'll give that hint.
Oh, I didn't even look at the year.
Oh, Shaq.
Who'd you say before? Dwight Howard?
Yeah. I'm changing my answer to Shaq, though.
All right. Well, I'll take your first answer then. I'll take Dwight Howard.
Ding, 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 Tony. It was Shaq.
Let's go.
Man,
I mean, Tony's just too good at this.
Dwight Howard's still playing in Taiwan, so...
There was one person that was playing in, like, the Indonesian league, but I was like, it was such an obscure player that, like, no one's gonna get it. Accidentally hit a squirrel yesterday in my car. Feel so guilty I could barely sleep. Casey Anthony is a monster.
That's crazy. Retired or active?
Recently retired.
Udonis Haslem.
JJ Redick. I don't know.
God, who did he date that was super famous?
Oh, is it Chris Humphries? I'm gonna change my answer to Chris Humphries because he was married to Kim Kardashian for like 70 days.
I have no clue. I really don't know. The only other guess I would have, just because he tries to be, I'm not saying he's not a good guy, but he puts on a really good guy persona, would be Dwayne Wade, but probably not.
Tony, you're actually really close with the Kim Kardashian guess. So it's actually Blake Griffin
Oh,
who's
okay,
dating
yeah, definitely
Kendall
close.
Jenner.
That family. Jeez.
What a family. What a family. Actually, I'm just realizing that I picked all retired players on accident. I didn't even mean to. Anyway,
Nice.
if you were an ice cream flavor, what would be in you? Vanilla.
Well, this would be J.R. Smith, I'm guessing.
I don't even know who to guess. I'm going to guess Andre Iguodala.
Well, I'll give you this hint too. In honor of the finals, he is a Mavericks legend.
Oh, it's Dirk then, isn't it?
It is Dirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 41 was kind of
one of the best, least athletic white guys in basketball.
That profile picture is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see if I'm able to scrounge up enough tweets for another episode. But yeah, Tony takes another one, taking a commanding 3-1 lead.
I'm the GOAT.
Eric.
The GOAT.
Whatever, dude.
But
how about we do NFL draft recitations of the last like 10 years? I will beat you undefeated.
We'll have to start coming up with a new game show because AK from X is running dry already. I'm not going to lie. So we'll come up with something for the next time. But yeah, Tony up in the lead. And till next time.
The GOAT.
What a great.
Anyways, what are your
outing.
yeah. What are your realistic expectations for Deshaun Watson this season?
I think he goes 2 for 5, 2 interceptions, and 10 yards. No, I'm just kidding.
And then breaks his arm.
Yeah. No, I think he can come back. I really do. I think this is, out of all years that we've had him, the 3 seasons that he's been here, I think his best case for success has got to be this year. I mean, you look at what this team did. You go out, you get Ken Dorsey. That's an offensive scheme that is similar, or closer, I should say, to what he had in Houston. So, his best years. You go out, you get Jerry Jeudy. I know people will laugh at it. I know people think very poorly of Jerry Jeudy, but hey, that's a huge upgrade. From Elijah Moore being your number 2, or Cedric Tillman being your number 2, to Jerry Jeudy being your number 2. So, you look at what the Browns have done to surround him. You look at the offensive scheme, and eventually getting Chubb back, getting back in rhythm. I think this has got to be the best year from Deshaun. And all I want, if you want realistic, give me Tennessee Titans performance Deshaun Watson this year for at least 15 of the 17 games. Like, that's what I need to see.
I'll take that. I just need to see him on the field for at least 10 games.
Yeah. I think for me, minimum is like 12. You got to play at least 12.
Worst case scenario, he gets suspended again.
Yeah. I mean, that's the worst
case.
That worst case is very subjective depending on what you look at as worst case. But on the field, I would say, aside from the obvious, I mean, the obvious would be worst case he gets injured again.
Another season-ending injury.
Yeah. Play-wise, I mean, worst case would just be he's below average. And, I think that's what a lot of people expect him to be. I don't think that's what we're going to get, but at the same time, it's like...
Best case scenario, he comes out and he's just ripping the football over the field and he looks like himself. And then I think if that happens, we win the AFC North, and I think we're in the AFC title game against Kansas City.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
best case scenario. Not going to say we beat the Chiefs, but we can compete. Can Watson be a top 5 QB in the AFC? Hell yeah, if he actually lives up to his potential. I mean, that's...
Well, I think you got to be careful with these top 5s, right? Because if this were the NFC, absolutely. No question.
I mean, like, Mahomes is 1, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your 2 through 5?
Mahomes, Allen, Lamar. So what is that? 3?
3.
I was about to say Jalen Hurts, but he's NFC. From there, I would probably... I don't know. I want to throw Burrow on that list, but I don't want to because of the injuries. I'll throw him on that list for injuries. Or not for injuries, but just outside of injuries. He's for sure top 5. Trying to think who else is in the division or in the AFC. Trevor Lawrence, probably not. Tua, probably not. Help me out here. Who am I forgetting?
So I have Mahomes number 1. I have Lamar Jackson number 2. I have Josh Allen number 3. I have Aaron Rodgers number 4.
Yeah.
And then my number 5, I would say Justin Herbert.
Ooh. See, Herbert's a... I think Deshaun, if Deshaun wants to get up in that top 5 conversation again, you have to outplay guys like Herbert. You have to outplay... I know it's not AFC, but Jalen Hurts of the world. Kirk Cousins.
And I still think, you know, Trevor Lawrence is a serviceable quarterback.
Yeah.
He's definitely top 10 for me. As far as like you got like CJ Stroud. He's like borderline top 10 just because I need consistency. He needs to show it over a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is obviously top 10. Anthony Richardson's another guy I need to see consistency from to put in the top 10, top 7, whatever. As far as like Oakland, New England, whoever quarterback's there for them this upcoming season, they're definitely bottom 5 for sure. I guess we are forgetting 2 very important people, but we're also not sure who's going to start, which is Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not. It's kind of the same thing with Russ and Deshaun. Is like it's not. You're not very comfortable putting either of them in conversation of best of the best quarterbacks until you see it.
Overall career, Russell Wilson absolutely top 5.
Oh yeah.
But right now, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But how short is the leash on Deshaun Watson with Jameis Winston and Tyler Huntley?
Not super short, but short enough to the point where if we go like 0-2 to start the season, questions might start to arise. If Watson throws a bunch of picks, questions arise. Like, I don't think it's going to be a situation where we're constantly pulling Deshaun Watson if he struggles. But I think if you get to the point in the season where, okay, we're obviously out of it, we're going to shut down Deshaun Watson for the rest of the year and let Jameis or Tyler start the remaining games.
Yeah,
I mean, you paid him $240 million guaranteed. You can't constantly take him off the field. Like,
no, I mean, I think the big test is going to be after the Dallas game. You have 4 somewhat easy games, or games that should be easy. If Deshaun comes out and struggles significantly in those 4 games, and it's not pretty, and he's throwing picks, and it's bad, okay, then I think it's like, all right, conversations need to be had then, because you have, I want to say you have a game against Baltimore. I forget how the schedule. Hold on. The schedule lines up. All right. Here it is on paper. So it's Browns, Cowboys, then it's Jags, Giants, Raiders, Commanders. those are games you absolutely should win. Those are games that you absolutely need to figure things out in. And then you have Bengals, Ravens, Chargers bye week. Okay. If Deshaun comes out, I mean, the first game he should play well, but it's the Cowboys, so it's more understandable.
I can't wait to play the Cincinnati Bagels.
Yeah.
Faustino.
So if by week 6 Deshaun Watson doesn't look like a starting quarterback, and if he comes out in that Eagles game and really struggles, then I see you start considering it, because then you have the Bengals, Ravens, Chargers, and then you have the bye week. So at least that would give you three games. If you decide that you need to make a decision there, that would give you a few games to kind of see what your other options are. You know, if Jameis comes out and struggles, maybe you throw Tyler in there. And if Huntley struggles, you know, it just gives you a little bit of time. That's kind of my point there.
Speaking on any of our quarterbacks struggling when it comes to the odd man out, and I hate to say this because I had so much promise for the guy, but like DTR has to be the odd man out, correct?
It's a battle between him and Huntley for sure. In a perfect world, the Browns can stash DTR on the practice squad.
Someone will pick him up.
I don't see a world where he's gonna remain, which they won't, but unless the Browns want to keep a bunch of quarterbacks in that quarterback room,
So DTR played wide receiver in high school. Do you think at some point maybe there's a talk of, hey, do you want to maybe play wide receiver instead of quarterback? We've obviously seen it in the past. Braxton Miller, countless other guys. Like Ryan Tannehill started as a wide receiver and became a quarterback, but like
Julian
Tebow, Edelman, there's countless other players that have made the move. Taysom Hill, essentially, he was a quarterback in college, and he still plays quarterback at times, but he's more of a Swiss Army knife. I mean,
yeah, I think it would be worth considering. The problem there becomes there's not a whole lot of room in that wide receiver room either, you know? So it's like, I feel bad for DTR. I think he is uber talented. I think he is absolutely worth keeping around. It's unfortunate. I think the Browns never thought that they were going to be in the spot that they are at quarterback. You know, you're going to find out how much they think of DTR by if they keep him on the roster over Huntley or over Winston.
Part of me thinks that Deshaun Watson won't play in any preseason games, and we're just going to use it to showcase the other three quarterbacks. And whoever looks the worst needs to pack their bags and leave. Essentially, that's kind of my.
Yeah, it certainly could be. Certainly could be. But Tony, is there any scenario do you think where Deshaun Watson is worth re-signing? Should they plan for the future regardless of how the season unfolds? How should they handle the quarterback position?
We'll see how the season goes. If Deshaun shows promise, I would float the idea of an extension. But if he looks bad at this point, you're just kind of, I don't know, either you ride out the contract or you offload and deal with the consequences after.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's way too early to even discuss this. I think the Browns need to prepare for everything. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. So if that means getting ready to draft a quarterback this year, you know, I hate to say it, but they need to prepare for it. I don't think we need to, but if they were in a position that they needed to, okay, who do you like? Is it Quinn Ewers? Is it Shedeur Sanders? Is it Carson Beck? What do you have to do to get one of those guys? You know, they need to plan. They need to.
I hope to God it is not Shedeur Sanders or Carson Beck, because that would just be torture. They both suck.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers is the only one that I would be like, okay.
I'd take Quinn Ewers, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Carson Beck, no. Shedeur Sanders, absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, they need to prepare. That's the biggest thing. Is like Deshaun absolutely has to come out play his best football now. But if it's similar to Denver, if they have a situation where they're like, all right, we're done. We can't. Like, we have to move on. They should already have plans in place for every different scenario, at least in my opinion. But you ready to move on to our favorite segment?
Honky of the week. Let's go. And guess who's back?
Yeah.
Shady's back. Eminem is the honky of the week this week. Congratulations, Marshall Mathers.
Yeah. Did you get to listen to the song?
It was awful. I hate to say that, but God, that was awful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm an O2 kid. I grew up listening to not a whole lot of that. How do I put it? I didn't really.
You grew up listening to kids bop Christian version.
No, my point is I didn't discover the old school Eminem until a few years later into life. But I think it's cool that he's trying to be his old self, because his new stuff sucks. So that's good. I will say, I don't know if we can say this, Jacob, you might have to cut this because some people might not like this, maybe. But I did think it was funny how he was like, I wonder what the old me would say if he could see what everything is like today. And it's just the old him being like, this is gay. It's just a little thing.
I mean, when Eminem tries to channel his old self, it's better. But I don't know. Some of the lyrics in that song just not hitting as hard as they used to, and maybe it's because I've gotten older and I don't know. It could have been better. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think
maybe it's nostalgia. Maybe it's that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's all the nostalgia of life was easier when we were 5 or 6 and not have a thing to worry about. Now we're all adults with responsibilities, and it's just okay. Life sucks. I don't find joy in anything.
I think if he wants to revitalize his career, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, Eminem's a legend, right? He is. Whether if you love him, hate him, whatever. He's just a legend. But I think he needs to embrace it. I think he should go full on back to his old self. I want bleach blonde hair. I want him to shave his beard. I want him to just start going off. I don't care what people say.
I would love that.
Yeah, bro.
Hot take here: Eminem is not in my top 5 today's rappers. He's not top 5. I'm sorry.
I mean, I just think he's got a gift. He's very talented. He is very talented. He just needs to channel it in the right way.
Can we talk about that song Drake dropped? He comes out of the Kendrick beef with a very melody-driven song of rip off of Hey There Delilah. That just proves you lost the beef, and we might have to make Drake the first 2-time Honky of the Week award winner just for that.
Drake sucks. I cannot stand Drake. I don't know
why. He's awful.
I never. He's got a couple songs that I like, but I think if you like Drake, and this is not a negative thing, I get it, but if you like Drake, it's because you like how he looks and how he acts and kind of the vibe of Drake. You don't like his music because his music sucks.
No, give me Jake Darris over Drake any day.
Give me Tweez. I'll listen to every Tweez album over Drake every day.
Okay, I don't know about that one, but okay.
Hey man, Tweez, get us an intro for the podcast. Get us a beat. Anyway, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I'll leave that up to you, sir.
Well, we're glad to be back after a couple weeks off. This may become a normal thing right now. There's just nothing to talk about. It's the middle of the off season. It's the middle of summer. There ain't shit to do. I mean, come on. What do you want out of us? We're trying. Anyways, follow us on all socials. Follow us on Spotify. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out College Football Dogs. There's new merch on their website, Dogs TV, all that fun stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That's just what it is. What it is. Check us out on our socials. Subscribe to our YouTube. That's all I got for you. See you next week or the week after. We're not quite sure yet.
Go Browns.
Peace. Go Browns.